17-2025. Mental health is real. Seek help and the stigma on the news this afternoon. Police arrest late 2 Baba gang members linked to murder of DPO Ambashim. Fresh suit filed against federal government over Rivers emergency rule. Chief of Defense Staff links military saboteurs to Benue massacre. On the foreign scene, President Trump says U.S. eyeing more than ceasefire between Israel and Iran. I'm Ifechuku Moyeli with the news. Police have arrested suspected members of the late 2 Baba gang linked to the murder of former Ahoda Police DPO SP Bako Ambashim. Spokesperson for the River State Police Command, SP Grace Iringikoko, said the suspect, the suspect, Aka, also known as KI, K1, and Love God Goodluck were arrested by operatives of the Octopus Tactical Unit after a raid on their camp in Ikata community, Ahoda East local government area. The police spokesperson said the suspects were found with a locally made single-barrel gun and 2 live cartridges recovered from Love God Goodluck. The statement also confirmed the arrest of another suspect, Olumini Precious, on June 13th, who had earlier escaped but was tracked down. The police said items recovered from him include an English-made pump-action gun and a locally made pistol. SP Iringikoko said the suspect confessed to being part of the gang terrorizing the Ahoda East axis of the state. SP Iringikoko said all suspects and weapons are in custody while investigations continue and efforts are on to arrest other fleeing gang members. Moving on now, the trial of 12 suspects accused of killing a female police inspector, Christiana Erekere, was paused on Monday at the River State High Court in Port Harcourt. Now, this follows the withdrawal of appearance by one of the defense lawyers, Sunday Woman, who had been representing the 9th, 11th, and 12th defendants, as well as the absence of the 3rd defense witness. The court, however, ordered Mr. Woman to continue with the case until he formally applied to withdraw. The trial judge, Justice Augusta Chukwu, adjourned the matter to June 18th, 23rd, 26th, 27th, and July 11, 2025 for accelerated hearing. Recall that Inspector Christiana Erekere was allegedly killed on April 24, 2024 during a stop-and-search operation at the Taba Police Division in Kana local government area. The suspects were reportedly traveling from Delta State to Akwa Ibom for a traditional marriage ceremony. Also, a fresh lawsuit is challenging the legality of the National Assembly's ratification of the appointment of retired Vice Admiral Bokete Abbas as sole administrator of River State. The suit by a civil society group, Initiative for Freedom, Conflict Prevention and Social Integration, is filed at the Federal High Court in Port Harcourt. The group is questioning the authority of the National Assembly to set up a committee to oversee the emergency rule in River State as well as receive the 2025 budget of the state. When the case came up in court on Monday, their lawyer, Kingdom Chukwueze, told the court that his client wants the court to examine the actions of the National Assembly based on the reliefs being sought. The defendants in the suit include the sole administrator, the Attorney General of the Federation, and the National Assembly. Their lawyer, Olafaro, requested more time to respond to the originating summons. This comes weeks after all suits related to the state of emergency in River State were transferred to the Federal High Court in Abuja in line with Order 49 of the Federal High Court Civil Procedure Rules. In a separate lawsuit at the same Federal High Court, the same group is challenging the declaration of a state of emergency in River State and the suspension of Governor Siminalayi Fubara. The defendants are President Bola Tinubu, Attorney General of the Federation, and the sole administrator of River State. When the matter came up in court on Monday, the lawyer for the defendant, Olafaro, told the court that he is yet to respond to the process and requested time. His request was not opposed by the lawyer of the suing group, Lezina M. Amegwa. The presiding judge, Justice Mohammed Turaki, after hearing from both lawyers, adjourned the matter to July 21st, 2025 for hearing. And now, a Lagos-based analyst, Libras Oshoma, has described the chaos that erupted during the APC members' Northeast meeting as a recurring feature of the ruling party. In an interview with correspondent Obioreware, Oshoma spoke on the circumstances that led to the disorder, saying there is need for the APC leadership to urgently address the ongoing conflict of interest before it escalates further.
Ruling party. Call it the ruling party syndrome. And everybody wants to be the one at the front. These are signs that all is not well. But I don't see it as signs of imminent implosion, except not properly managed. That's why I said it is good that it is happening early. So if the party have their mechanism in place, then they'll be able to manage it. Otherwise, some people might get angry and pull out. But what this means for party as a whole, it is even better for them now that all of these schemings and divisions are happening now. So they have a lot of time and to create platforms and opportunity to resolve.
Oshoma also urged opposition political parties to capitalize on the growing internal tensions within the APC. Recall that over the weekend, there was chaos during the APC Northeast members' meeting over claims that while the endorsement process of President Bola Tinubu, the name of the Vice President Kashim Shettima, who was from the region, was not mentioned. Away from that, some passengers at the Port Harcourt International Airport, Omagwa, have called on airline operators to invest in acquiring more aircraft to help reduce flight delays and cancellations. Speaking in an interview with our correspondent, they also criticized the poor customer service experienced while trying to obtain boarding passes, describing airline hospitality as inadequate.
Nigeria Civil Aviation Authority, they should sit up. They should make sure that any aircraft that is faulty should not be put out to fly publics.
Actually, the hospitality, they need to improve. Hospitality is not good.
Casualties are always en masse if peradventure there is an incident. I've been in an aircraft before where, of course, there was turbulence. The body in charge of safety and security of airlines should do their best to ensure that air travel is safe.
These airlines, since it's being owned by individuals, should source for more carrier. They should introduce more flights so that that particular airline that will do like 3 routes in order to cover up will not go down, and they will not give the other states the excuse that there is technical issue delaying flights and cancelling it.
Meanwhile, the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, FCCPC, has summoned the management of Air Peace following multiple complaints from passengers regarding non-refund ticket fares. A statement on Monday by the FCCPC Director of Corporate Affairs, Onda J. Ijagu, said the non-refunded ticket fares included those of cases where the airline cancelled scheduled flight. In a formal notice dated 3rd June 2025, the Commission ordered Air Peace to appear at its Abuja headquarters next Monday to address growing public outcry and allegations of consumer rights violations. In other news, the Nigerian Railway Corporation says train operations from Port Harcourt to Aba have not been disrupted since the rehabilitated and reconstructed Port Harcourt-Maiduguri Eastern Narrow Gauge Railway project was commissioned. Spokesperson of the Port Harcourt station of the corporation, Atoye B. Samuel, made this known in an interview with correspondent Obioreware while speaking on the level of patronage since the Port Harcourt axis was commissioned.
And we have been making an impact. Passengers have been coming and they've been enjoying the train ride. The issue is that we don't operate on Mondays and Sundays. Why? Because Monday starts to matter about their state, what we call POA, periodic overhauling, to see that our dogs, locomotives, all are served in preparation for Tuesday to Saturday. And the turnout here has been of great. People have been coming and passengers have been enjoying the ride. The economy class is 100, while business class is 1,500.
Samuel also said the rate of railway vandalism has reduced. He also urged passengers to avoid boarding the train without their ticket. The spokesperson of the Port Harcourt railway station also confirmed that an additional first-class coach has been added to the operation due to the increased passenger demand.
The business class, instead of the one, we have another one that just been added, which makes it to be two now. The first class coach, there are two. The demand for the two is on the higher side. They should be at the station to make sure they book for that business class, because many people prefer that. And there are people who prefer this anyway. And those are the wayside stations too. They have their own allocation. When I mean wayside stations like my one, Fruit Heading, gas station, which is the transformer, there are people who also want to enjoy it. So they have their own allocation. They just got to the station very early.
Moving on, an environment advocate Fine-Face Dunamene is calling on the Niger Delta Development Commission NDC to intensify effort in developing human capital across the 9 Niger Delta states. Speaking on Nigeria 4FM's Morning Crossfire while assessing the Commission's impact in 25 years of existence, Dunamene stressed the need for NDDC to extend its development efforts to secondary schools in the region. Dunamene, who is the executive director of the Youth and Environmental Advocacy Center, also recommended that the NDDC create a platform where residents can submit project needs in their communities, which can then be reviewed and implemented.
I think the NDDC is... But the NDDC is an interventionist agency, and I would have expected them to keep part of their budget open, whereby they even flow radio programs. If there is any project in your community that you think needs immediate intervention to fix, please come forward and put it out. And when people will call in to put out those projects, then we look at it, send people to go and verify, and then they carry out that project. That window should be open. They need to sit down on a table every fiscal year to say, this is what we plan to do. Have you planned to do anything here? So we leave that area. Okay, we have planned to do that. You leave that area so that the resources will be properly used.
The environment advocate further criticized the NDDC, saying it is overly centralized. He suggested the appointment of community liaison officers to serve as a bridge between residents and the authorities. Coming up next, Chief of Defense Staff links military saboteurs to Benue massacre. Stay with us. Involvement of an insider sabotage in the military to Yelwata massacre in Benue State, where over 200 people were killed. General Musa said this yesterday during a visit to assess the attacks. The CDS said some soldiers were leaking sensitive information to bandits, which may have enabled the targeted killings and arson. He emphasized the need to overhaul military strategies and work closely with local authorities to rebuild trust. His comments comes as President Bola Tinubu is scheduled to pay a condolence visit to the people of Benue State tomorrow. The statement said President Tinubu will meet with all stakeholders, including traditional rulers, political, religious, and community leaders and youth groups to seek lasting solutions to the hostilities. In the meantime, the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, says over 6,500 people have been displaced in Benue State following coordinated attacks by unidentified gunmen. In other news, Father's Day may have come and gone on Sunday, but the conversations it sparked are far from over. Traditionally marked on the third Sunday of June, the day offers a chance to honor fathers, those whose steady presence and quiet strength often go unspoken but deeply felt. Yet in Port Harcourt, some residents are raising concerns about a growing number of fathers who, while physically at home, are emotionally absent from their children's lives. In an interview with our correspondent, several residents acknowledged that fatherhood comes with significant responsibilities and pressures. Still, they emphasize that a father's emotional absence can leave deep and lasting scars emotionally and psychologically on their children.
Every man can be a father, but no fathers can be a dad. Some men did not understand the responsibility when considering being a father, and some men just get overwhelmed and saying, "Oh my God, I actually have to be a dad to someone." Someone actually relies on me.
You should find your path back to your child, even if it's not back to your wife, because you're one of the first contact that shapes your child's morals, that shapes your child into what your child is supposed to grow into. So as an absent father, you're not reasonable, you're not responsible, and there is nothing to justify that. So long as you're not sick, so long as you're in good health, is wicked and is not good. That's why they say it's the effort that matters. Everything is not about money. So long as you're trying.
There is no child that will forgive a father when that child really know that you are alive and you are sentient.
Now, research shows that children who grow up without present and involved fathers often suffer from low self-esteem and are more likely to engage in delinquent behavior. Girls in particular are reported to struggle with forming healthy relationships and may be more vulnerable to risky Girls in particular are reported to struggle with forming healthy relationships and may be more vulnerable to risky sexual activities when paternal support is lacking. Meanwhile, the month of June is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. It is time to break the silence around men's mental health. Reports say men are less likely than women to seek help for mental health problems, and they are also more likely to die by suicide. Sharing their thoughts on this, some residents of Port Harcourt urge families to recognize the effort of responsible fathers and create a stable environment by prioritizing their